that investment. You see, one time I said that a mayor should not be like a housewife who waits for what the husband brings home. A mayor cannot wait for the government budget only. A mayor must be like a wife who executes her housewife duties excellently. What I mean is that whatever the government gives the city, the mayor must make sure it does its work. But the mayor must also have the wisdom to step out of the cocoon of the government budget to go and attract the necessary investment, market the city, and then you make sure that the investment is tailored to address specific, like in our case, investment tailored to address needs like unemployment. Just to provide clarity, I'll give one example. In the case of employment, what all of us know is that at the border in Lear, people buy timber. That one everybody knows. What most people don't know, the timber that leaves that place every day is above 100 million every single day. The biggest buyer of this timber is an Eritrean. He has signed a 10-year contract to supply timber in Dubai. This guy buys all this timber on a daily basis. But even mere preparing of this timber to pack into boxes to send to Dubai is done in Kenya, in Nairobi, where he has built 2 large plants to process this timber before it's shipped to Dubai. And you can imagine the number of young people that this guy actually employs in Kenya. And all this timber comes from the border here. You cannot convince me that the sitting mayor has no capacity whatsoever to convince this guy or compel him legally or convincingly to put at least one of these plants for processing this timber here in Arua City. And I can say those will be over 500 jobs for young people who don't have to have degrees and diplomas, who just have to have the skill to process this timber. Ruoni Faso Randa say Alionzi box Malia to be shipped into Dubai. And this does not even take so much. So that is what we can do in terms of training and skilling and then tapping into investment so that we can then put this force into work. Now, those that are actually formally educated, somebody said, these days you can barely tell the difference between those that are and those that are not educated. Because even if you went to school, the expectation is that you should be working. But if you're not working, what then is the essence of going to school? Now, I don't agree with that statement totally. Because I think someone that is educated and unemployed is not the same as someone that is educated, that is not educated and not employed. I think those are two different people. But I get his point. I get his point is that if you went to the highest levels of education, but you struggle with the basic survival of what essence then is your education. So the city will also need, first of all, to eliminate corruption, fraud, and buying of jobs from its system, clean the system, but further go ahead to also attract investment to tap into the labor force for these educated young people.
Okay. I'm still forwarding to you more of the questions. Let me get to Facebook here on Host TV on Facebook. One gentleman called Onzima George is saying, congratulations to Lawrence. I implore you to be intentionally and deliberate and never disappoint the trust people have entrusted in you.
I hear you. I hear you.
Then there's one gentleman on WhatsApp. He's called Mbaya Roya Gobia. He's saying, intensively point out plans for garbage management and build out and uplifting the face of Arua with cleanness. And then his second question is saying, developmental plans and lobbying investors in the city. And then thirdly, he's saying, and physical plans in the outcast of the city since they are still under the city authorities, which the current regime didn't do.
Okay, thank you. His first question was that for me to intensively
point out.
Point out. Now, I do not know the extent of the intensiveness, but I will try my best to make it intensive. I one time said, and I mean this lightly, not very strongly, that garbage is only garbage in the minds of a garbage leader. But actually, to a proper leadership, garbage is not garbage in itself. In the sense that if you properly go to the toilet and use it rightly, you will not have disturbed yourself and other people. We are only complaining because we are not disposing garbage properly. If that garbage was collected and dumped where you see, it's not that other places don't have garbage. They have. The problem is that it's not being collected and disposed of properly. So we need to deal with that. Improve on garbage collection and disposal. Now, not long ago, the people that the city employs to collect garbage or to help in garbage collection and cleaning of the streets went on a strike. 82 of them, and media houses in the city wrote about this, including radio parties. So, if the people that are supposed to help the city in collecting and disposing garbage are not being paid and even go to the extent of going in a strike, and their strike was rather an emotional one, in the sense that they came to the offices, through the office of the city mayor, and they were actually crying. And 98% of them were women, which was a hard thing to see. But in terms of this context, what it means is that you are poorly facilitating those that are helping you to collect and dispose garbage, and then you have a garbage problem on your hands. But coming to what the long-term plan is. So the short-term plan is just to improve the efficiency, proper facilitation of those that help us to deal with garbage, and improve the efficiency of their work to collect garbage properly and dispose it properly. But the long-term plan is this. As an engineer, I am alive to a technology called waste to energy. Now, this is how it works. You segregate garbage at collection so that degradable and non-biodegradable waste go to different garbage boxes. When that happens is that when you're ferrying them away from where they are, you ferry them for different purposes. Biodegradable waste, the city can tap investment to that particular area and turn it into manure and sell it to even make money for the city and for the investor, respectively. But the non-biodegradable is where the waste to energy actually comes in. You can burn this waste through a process called incineration, generate electricity. These days, the electricity we have in Uganda is hybrid, that if at your home right now, you can afford to put on your house 1,000 solar panels, you can enter a PPP, a power purchase PPA with the government to supply the excess of that power on the national grid, and then the government pays you. At the end of the month, if you've given more power to government than government has given to you, government pays you. If government has given you more power than you have given it for whatsoever reason, you pay the government. So in this case, if the city does incineration and turns its waste into electricity through incineration, the city then connects this electricity on the national grid. So at the end of the month, or at the end of the financial year, if the government has given, or whoever is representing government in the power deal, has given Arua City or the consuming entities more power, or whatever side takes, it depends on if we pay government or government actually pays us. And what this happens is that we turn garbage, which is supposed to be nonsense and rejected, into something which can actually be treasured. It's like not long ago, these metallic pieces were all over the place until someone started buying whatever metallic pieces you can bring. We reached a point where children were stealing saucepans and bringing it to the place where this was being collected. So we had turned what was actually a waste and people resenting into something that can be turned into a resourceful, and actually it ceases to be enough. And I jokingly said somewhere that we could actually reach a point where the garbage in Arua is not enough, and perhaps we have to go to Maracha and buy garbage to bring into Arua. Now his